Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. In today's explainer, we're taking those locally tested soulbound tokens you've been working on, and we're finally moving them to a live public test network. We're taking that leap, bridging the gap between your isolated local code and a fully verifiable on-chain presence. Let's get right into it.
To make this whole process super approachable, we're going to break our flight plan down into 5 simple steps. Welcome to the testnet, prepping your environment, scripting the deployment, verifying the revert, and finally, packaging your artifacts.
Section 1. Welcome to the testnet, moving from local code.
So think of your local testing setup kind of like singing in the shower, right? It's safe, it's totally isolated, and nobody's watching you make mistakes. But a testnet deployment, that is the ultimate dress rehearsal. We're putting on the exact same costumes, by which I mean our identical compiled bytecode, and we're stepping out under the real stage lights of a live network. Honestly, the only real difference between this and mainnet opening night is that here we're using fake, valueless money.
Basically, a testnet gives us a highly realistic execution environment. It's a public sandbox that perfectly mimics the main network, allowing us to prove our smart contract logic without risking a single cent of real financial assets. We're talking about networks like Sepolia here. It's literally the perfect testing ground to make absolutely sure that our non-transferable invariant actually holds up once real network consensus gets involved.
Section 2. Prepping your environment, ensuring reproducibility.
All right, before we deploy, here's the minimal checklist you need to have ready. You'll want Node.js in your package manager, your contract cleanly compiled using a tool like Hardhat or Foundry, a connection to the network via an RPC URL like Alchemy or Infura, and of course, a test account funded with testnet ETH. Now, if you've been following along with the learning programs at Forge College, your project layout probably already has your contracts folder and your artifacts directory structured and totally ready to go.
Okay, quick pause for an absolutely vital warning here. Please, whatever you do, don't be the person who accidentally broadcasts their real mainnet wallet keys to the entire universe. Always, always keep your secrets safely tucked away in a local uncommitted .env file. And strictly use a private key created only for test networks. Seriously, never reuse production secrets in this environment. Just don't do it.
Section 3. Scripting the deployment, deterministic execution.
Now, a crucial part of this step is understanding the ABI. During compilation, you generate this application binary interface, and it is absolutely vital because it acts as the translation dictionary for the entire network. It's exactly what allows downstream applications, auditors, and other contracts to interact with your deployed bytecode programmatically. And remember, we have to deploy the exact same compiled artifact you just tested locally. No change in the logic at the last minute here.
So, by executing our Hardhat deploy script on the Sepolia network, we are submitting the contract creation transaction directly to our RPC provider. Basically, under the hood, the script is just grabbing your compiled contract, using your test account to sign the transaction, and pushing the whole shebang out to the public sandbox where it sits awaiting block confirmation.
Section 4. Verifying the revert, proving SBT invariants.
Now that it's deployed, we're going to intentionally attempt an on-chain transfer. We take a read-write invocation like a transfer call using an account that shouldn't be allowed to move any tokens, and we fully expect it to fail. When we see this exact revert error pop up on the console, revert non-transferable, it is actually a triumphant badge of honor. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but seeing that error proves our non-transferable invariant is working perfectly under realistic live network conditions. To be completely sure, you'll want to run through this strict verification checklist to validate that your live behavior matches your local unit tests one-to-one. Do you have your 66-character transaction hash? Did it resolve to a valid contract address? Does your ABI JSON perfectly match the deployed bytecode? Did your on-chain transfer attempt actually revert like we just discussed? And finally, do you have the deployed event logged in the receipt? If even one of these fails, just take a breath, check your RPC URL, verify your testnet balance, or double-check your compiler versions, and try again. Section 5. Packaging your artifacts, clean handoff metadata.
Take a look at how this format transforms our canonical deployment log into a clean, reproducible JSON. Let me tell you, integration systems and auditors are going to absolutely love this. Look at the specific fields we've captured: the network, the TX hash, contract address, ABI path, and block number. Gathering this precise metadata ensures that programmatic callers know exactly where and how to interact with your newly deployed soulbound token.
Oh, and here's a fantastic pro tip to speed up your workflow. You can actually use an AI assistant to build a quick wrapper script that runs the deployment and the verification snippet instantly. It can automatically format those outputs right into that reproducible JSON we just talked about, and even validate the receipt for you. Honestly, adopting this kind of tooling is a real game changer. It saves you an immense amount of time and stops silly formatting errors dead in their tracks.
And all of this neatly sets us up for the baton pass. In our next module, we'll dive into an overview of decentralized identity frameworks. As we get into it, you'll quickly see that this precise metadata package we just rigorously built, it is exactly the input that identity clients and registries are going to need to successfully reference your soulbound token.
But before we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to ponder. Your token is now permanently bound to a testnet address. But what happens if the user loses their testnet keys? Think about that for a minute. I highly encourage you to head over to forge.college to explore more courses, continue your Web3 learning journey, and uncover the answer to that exact decentralized identity puzzle. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep building.